I do not own the rights to this music, y'all. But we're going to say, clap your hands, everybody, for the Philadelphia 76ers. Stomp your feet, everybody, for Philadelphia 76ers. Here they come. Here come the Sixers. Here come the Sixers. And tonight in New York City, we showed the New York Knicks what we are made of. I'm fired up right now, y'all. I just was on Facebook. Now I'm here. I went live on Facebook, but I'm amped to do a second video here. Shout out to all of the fans who stayed true and faithful to the Philadelphia 76ers as they were victorious today, 112-106 against the New York Knickerbockers. And I will say this because I got fired up on Facebook, so I won't go into detail here. Join the Facebook page too, because I do lives from there. But New York Knicks fans have really mucked up this series, man. They've really turned it into something ugly. And Sixer fans, now I know Philadelphia Eagle fans, we got to keep it real. Eagle fans have been kind of raw for years. But the Sixer fans have been pretty classy. We don't harass other teams when they come into the arena. I used to go to the games in the Spectrum and also the Wells Fargo, and we keep it cool. So I get you on a football tip. But on basketball, we've been cool. But the Knicks fans came into the Wells Fargo Center. They screaming F Embiid. They're going through the arena in droves, harassing fans. I heard they're tearing down the flags in the arena, in the interior, and throwing the flags down and just being hoodlums. And so we went into New York. Patrick Ewing was there. Hey, Pat. John Starks was there. Hey, John. Latrell Sprewell. I think, who else was in there? Carmelo Anthony was there. I saw John McEnroe. I saw all kind of stars, if you want to call them that. Ex-former Knicks players cheering, screaming, hollering. And we went into hostile territory and we took over. And the scary thing for the Knicks should be that we played a terrible basketball game overall. We did not play a great game. I mean, if you look at the team stats, man, we just didn't play well. 3-point percentage, well, it wasn't bad, 38%. We didn't play well tonight overall. The offense looked really disjointed. We'll get to that. But this is the 6 for Sixer podcast. I am your host, Creek. What we do on the 6 for Sixer podcast is we analyze the game in 6 points or more. I'm sticking with the 6 today because I don't want to do a long podcast today. We're going to keep it pretty short, but the Sixers defeat the Knicks 112-106. Hostile territory. The Knicks are officially our arch rivals after what they did in Wells Fargo Center in game number 4. We cannot let them get away with that. It's no longer the Boston Celtics. It is the New York Knicks. Every time we play the Knicks, I want to demolish them. So we pulled out a tight squeaker of a game in overtime. And these are my 6 points that I analyzed during the game. The first point goes to Tyrese Maxey. Now, if you remember the Facebook page, at halftime I called it. I said this offense has to go through Tyrese Maxey. Joel Embiid did not look like himself in the beginning of the game. From the first quarter, he missed the shoot around today, suffering from migraines. He played a lot of minutes in game 4, which you have to consider. And typically when he plays a lot of minutes in the previous game, they either will give him a lot of rest or sometimes even sit him out on some load management techniques And so he just didn't look himself from the inset. I think in the first half, he had a very low score and like 5 points or 10 points or something in the first half. He just didn't look himself. He was not very mobile, which could be an effect of his knee. He didn't have lift, and we'll get to that. But I called in the second half that Tyrese Maxey had to step up as the number one. And I don't mean number one in the long term. I mean number one for now, for this series. He is the guy that the Knicks are having the most difficulty guarding. He is the guy that looks to be the least intimidated by the situation, being in the Garden, being down 3-1. He did not look phased. And he looks to be the guy that is willing to take that big shot. 46 points tonight and 9 rebounds and five rebounds, and 9 assists. Great game from Maxey. But the most important stat, not really a statistic, but the most important attribute to Maxey that doesn't show up in the stat sheet is that he is willing to take the shot. He is one of the guys on the Sixers to seem like he was not afraid of that big moment. And he made the key three-pointer to send the game into overtime. And so Tyrese Maxey, he's not going to score 46 next game, but he is a guy that I think the Sixers are going to start looking at seriously to build around, because he is showing that leadership attribute that we didn't get last year or the previous years. He was young. Last year we had James Harden, who was him and Embiid were like the leaders. So Maxey actually emerged this year in terms of his leadership role. He's being more vocal in the media. He made a statement after Game 4 that they can win 3 straight, and he believes that, and there's no reason why they can't win 3 straight. So he took the first out of that 3 steps and winning Game 5. Obviously, we got to go back to Wells Fargo and win Game 6. So first point goes to Tyrese Maxey. Great game by Maxey. Clear-cut number one in this series. Got to hand the ball off to him and let him go. And all the other guys got to step up and make shots. To point number 2, Joel Embiid, big fella, did not have a good night. He was 7 for 19 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, didn't have the legs. On the positive end, he did have 16 boards, which is great because that's over what he's been doing for the series. Definitely got to the ball a lot faster. The rebounds were much better this game than in previous games, and he had 10 assists, which is great. Triple-double for Joel Embiid. Somebody joked on the Facebook page that he had a quad-double because he also had 10 turnovers, which is horrible. Got to cut down on those. Some of the turnovers were just terrible, just throwing the ball away and giving guys passes that they just couldn't handle and just making cross-court passes that just were not good basketball passes to make, especially in professional. That's going to get stolen. So Joel didn't play well. He complained of having migraines. Also, he has the knee issue. And then there's the issue of just sheer conditioning. He's not in game time shape yet. So going deep into the fourth quarter and Paul Reed giving us nothing and forcing them to play Embiid for 48 minutes tonight. And I think last game was like same thing, close. He played basically the whole fourth quarter, the whole second half in the Game 4. And when he plays that much, he is going to be fatigued. That's just who he is. And even without the knee injury, he's going to be fatigued. Add the knee injury on top, add migraines on top of that. Add the Knicks defense, give the Knicks credit. They stifle him. They surround him. They don't let him get off. So he's got to get back on track. The good news for us is that he doesn't rarely have 2 games in a row where he plays like that. So he's had a 50-pointer in this series. So expect Joel Embiid to come back strong in game number 6. But he got to play better. Didn't play well today. That's point number 2. Point number 3, I'm going with Tobias Harris, the Swiss Army knife. I call him the Swiss Army knife because he can do multiple things. Tonight emerged as a solid 2-way player. People get upset with Tobias Harris because he doesn't score a ton of points. He's not going to take over the game scoring. He's not going to score 30 or 28 and 40, and he's not going to be that. I don't care what his salary is. He's not built to score like that. He is a two-way player. So if you watch him on defense, you'll get a better idea. He moves great to the ball. He's a great on-ball defender. He can defend guys from the guard position on up to the power forward position. And tonight he did a great job on multiple guys. Played some solid minutes on Jalen Brunson. He could switch off. He could play OG Anunoby. He can play Josh Hart. He can play anybody. And he moves well, defends well. So Tobias Harris, 19 points tonight, 8 rebounds, 1 assist. 8 rebounds are critical because it takes a little bit of pressure off Embiid. Great game, both ways on the floor. But I really give him credit for the defense because that's really what we need. Need somebody that can step up and defend and get rebounds. He gets dogged when he doesn't do well. So you got to give him his props for doing well. Point number 3, the Swiss Army knife, Tobias Harris. Great game. Point number 4, I went with the bench in the Facebook group, just thinking the bench, not so much the guys. Batum played pretty well today. Cam Payne brought a good spark off the bench. But so they had 8 and 6, but Paul Reed respectively just didn't play well. And Paul Reed has to at least hold down the fort when Embiid goes out of the game. Nick Nurse at this point just doesn't trust Paul Reed. He scored 0 points on 4 minutes. Only 1 field goal attempt, 1 rebound, 1 assist. He just looks like he's flopping around out there. Paul Reed looks like a JV player that just made varsity. That's how he looks. And I'm not trying to be funny when I say that. That's what he looks like. Not quite ready to play on the varsity yet and needs more time. But this is the pros. So we need Paul Reed to step up. We don't need Paul Reed to score a lot of points. We need him to do is play defense, rebound, and give Embiid quality minutes, rest minutes, so that Embiid doesn't have to play the entire half, so that Embiid can rest the first half of the fourth quarter, which he typically does not play for the first 6 minutes of the first or fourth quarter. He usually rests in the second quarter and doesn't play for the first half of the second quarters. And that's pretty much been his rotation scheme and his minutes play all season. And Reed, when Reed doesn't play well, it forces Nurse, because he hasn't gone to Bamba, which I think he should, to just play Embiid exorbitant minutes, and it wears on him at the end of the game. And at the end of the game, Embiid didn't have much left. It was all on Maxey. He was just give and go to Maxey, let Maxey do what he does. Fortunately, Maxey came through, but the bench overall, Paul Reed included. And then the bench is only, so without Paul Reed, you're talking about a 7-man rotation. And that puts a lot of pressure on guys. Minutes, 49 for Harris, 52 for Maxey. And then you have also, so I'm wondering, like, what is Buddy Hield going to play again? He would be a good addition to the bench to give him a shot to put up some 3-pointers and get going. He might have a good game. He only put up 7 shots in the series. In the last 2 games, Buddy Hield has gotten a did not play coach's decision. And I don't think that's a good decision, because he was not even like he was in a slump. He only shot 7 times. And he made 1 out of the 7, I think. So he really didn't get a chance to get going. I think that it would be a good opportunity if he could get in game 6 just for a couple minutes, see how he moves, see what he can do, shooting a 3-pointer or 2. And then if he doesn't show improve, then you pull him. But I don't think you keep running these guys in the ground playing all those minutes. Also, Ricky Council IV, who has kind of proven himself to be a young gun off the bench. He did not see the floor either, has not seen the floor the entire playoffs. So that, when I say bench, I mean all of that. I guess Batum and Payne played well, but I would like to see the rotation extended a little bit. Honestly, don't think we're going to see it at this point, because Nurse has his mind made up, and that's kind of what it's been. He pulled Hield. I don't think we're going to see Hield again. So next point, that was the fourth point. Next point, number 5, is Nick Nurse. I don't know what to think of Nick Nurse at this point. We'll wait and evaluate at the end of the season, but at sometimes the offense just doesn't look to have any fluidity to it. Doesn't have, guys don't seem mobile. They seem to be just looking and waiting for somebody to do something, and there's not any flow to it. Whereas as opposed to, like, you see Tom Thibodeau with the Knicks, you see them moving. You see, even though Jalen Brunson is the centerpiece, you see other guys spotting up to shoot. You see, there's a flow and a motion to it, so to speak. We don't see that motion for the Sixers. We see guys standing around watching Embiid and Maxey. Same way they watched Harden and Embiid last year. And then when the ball does come to them, they're not really prepared. Oubre played pretty well today, but I still think Oubre could give a little more. Lowry didn't play well at all. So I think that offense is not a real scheme or real flow to it. Doesn't appear to be. Appears to be the Maxey show today. And thank God for him making those shots at the end of the game. The shot to send in overtime, and then in overtime came up big. So, and then Maxey also had that 4-point play. So it was just a Tyrese Maxey show. I think that Nurse defensively, the Sixers didn't play very well. They really won the game because the Knicks just missed shots down the clutch. I don't really attribute it to great defensive play. But we'll see. I don't like the rotation being shortened that much. I know it shortens up in the playoffs a little bit. But I'm not an NBA coach, and I'm sure Nick Nurse is a championship winning coach and did a great job with Toronto Raptors. I love when he coached Raptors. They just look so well coached. The Sixers don't really look the same here, and I don't know why, but a lot of that has to fall on the coach. So I see what Nick Nurse would do for the remainder of the series. I'm not sold so far in this series. I think he could do a little bit better than he's doing, but we'll see. The last point is, and I hate to talk about refereeing, but the refereeing has been horrendous. I usually do not go there because I believe players win games, but in game 2, I believe the refs took that game from us. And then in this game, there was a couple plays that just, to me, were very questionable. Number one, Embiid, when the ball was rolling out of bounds, it appeared from my view that the ball did not even, it came close, but it looked like there was still space, floor between the ball and out of bounds. Thought Embiid saved that. I don't know, maybe they had a different angle. But then you had the ref call Tyrese Maxey's 3-point, which he was like 6 inches behind the 3-point line, called it a 2-pointer with a foul, when it actually was a 3-pointer with a foul, and it wasn't even close. And when they called it 2, I was like, how? I swore I saw that. Nah. So those are things that are questionable in my opinion. Tyrese Maxey was getting legitimately bumped when he went to the basket. I'm not talking about a tap. I'm talking about an aggressive bump, knocking him to the ground. No calls. So it's not going that way for Jalen Brunson. When Jalen Brunson goes to the basket and they brush him, fouls. So Brunson, let's see if I can look at his stats. Some breaking down here, but the Knicks free throw percentage was terrible on both teams. Free throw percentage was 24. The Knicks shot and the Sixers shot 19. But I just don't feel that Maxey's getting the same calls Jalen Brunson is getting. I feel like when Robinson for the Knicks, Mitchell Robinson, he pushed Kelly Oubre down, Oubre Jr. He just threw him down to the ground. No foul call. How's that not a flagrant or even just an offensive foul? Just really a flagrant, because he extended his forearm and just shoved him to the ground. So Though I don't know, the refereeing has been kind of suspect in every game. And in game 2, of course, we know the refs just missed 2 timeout calls and also missed the foul, 3 fouls. Maxey Hart fouled him, and also Brunson fouled him. So point number 6 is the refereeing has to get better. Hopefully the refereeing improves in game number 6. So that is the 6 for Sixers. This is the 6 for Sixers podcast. I am your host, Creek. Join us on the Facebook page at the 6 for Sixers. Only for true fans. Don't come up on the page with nonsense because we just delete those. This is a Philadelphia 76ers true fan group. And no Nick haters jumping in there. We delete you and block you right away. Like, share, subscribe, comment, share with friends so we can get the numbers up here. Keep it moving. Shout out to the Sixers. Great game. And we look forward to seeing y'all on the next one in the Wells Fargo Center. Go Sixers. Play the song, man. Clap your hands, everybody, for Philadelphia 76ers. I am your host, Creek. I'm out of here. We all got to work in the morning. Have a good, productive Wednesday. Get some rest tomorrow. Get geared up for game number 6 in the Wells Fargo Center. And hopefully, we can extend this thing and take it back to New York for an epic game 7 in Madison Square Garden. So, peace, y'all. See y'all in the next game.